Welcome back to Big Human Dead.
Everybody panic. Oh, that was a terrible. Oh,
Should we do that again?
No.
Okay.
No, that's no.
I'm your co-host,
It's okay.
Rob Ayers, and with me as always is the ever-proud Buddy Black, a.k.a.
Yes.
Neil McKay.
AKA, I think you're still stuck on this Johnny Nightstick.
Fucking love
thing,
Johnny
so
Nightstick.
Let's drive this into the ground. Yeah.
Johnny Nightstick, famed brother of Jimmy Icepack, the terrorizing duo of Toronto, Ontario.
Yep. Just so much. We embezzle so much.
Yes, from elderly supply companies.
You don't hear, there's, whatever, like the Mississippi Ripper,
Yeah.
or like the Kansas City, Strangler.
It's true.
But like those are all pretty, blue collar violent crimes.
It's true.
You don't get,
There were a lot of these in the 70s. I feel like they were making movies about these people all the time.
no, straight up.
Yeah.
And I sort of ruined your segue, but I was just saying, like, you don't get like, the Wall Street Wheeler, like you don't, that doesn't happen ever, which is, that's disappointing. Someone should make a movie about that.
That's
I
true.
think they do all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's just every movie that takes place on Wall Street.
Well, according to half the movies that come out now, they're always branded with the infamous sentence, based on true events, or based on a real story,
Yeah.
or based on
Yeah.
a real cocktail napkin. And
Yeah.
so I think tonight we should honor these grand cinematic gems with just really exercising this whole based on true events idea.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Just full disclosure, I don't believe anything that says that it's based on true events or based on a true story.
Fair enough.
Like just nothing.
I think
Don't believe in that at all.
I think for the most part that this whole based on true events is like they can actually say this, that it's based on, it's actually a true event, that we wrote this movie and then filmed it, and that's what it's based on. Or I think it could be as ambiguous as that, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, well.
Rob,
Yes.
what's name okay, so like name an event
Mm-hmm.
and then a film inspired by that event, and the film is better than the event.
Okay, I have a few that I think are pretty cool, and the first one that came to my mind is Deranged. Do you know this one from 1974 with Roberts Blossom? And he's an old character actor. He was the crazy old coot in Christine, and like you'd recognize him to see him. He's got this super like sympathetic old man's face. He's a skinny old guy. But Deranged is a really cheap production based on like heavily on Ed Gein and his whole serial killer bit.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that one now.
And I know
Yeah,
Ed
yeah,
Gein's name is tossed around as the based on the true events of Ed Gein for Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho and a million other movies. But this one, Deranged, like I think this one really looked at some court records of what Ed did and put them in the movie. And Roberts Blossom does such a good job of acting this part. And the movie is so it's a little bit in the style of Romero, where it's kind of this non-style. It's just the camera is in the room, and so a lot of the times when I'm watching it, I kind of feel like maybe we shouldn't actually be in this room while he's doing these things.
And that was a lot of 70s movies too. And like, guys like Romero and Kubrick was really great at doing that too, where it was almost voyeuristic. Yeah. And that was really great. Like there was a lot of there were a lot of directors in the 70s that would do that, and I fucking love 70s film more than any other era of film. So yeah. No, Deranged was cool. I was doing a little bit of research, and I guess I never knew this, but I guess The Exorcist was actually based on
Yeah.
a true story.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I didn't know too much about it. Like I had read the book, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and I really loved the movie. But yeah, no, I was reading over the just kind of what happened to this poor kid in
Right.
in I think it was 1949, and yeah, I mean it sucks.
Mhm.
Like it really would have sucked for him and everyone else who was involved.
Yeah.
But there's no mention of spider walking or projectile vomiting or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I would imagine that just the movie is like a trillion times more badass
Yeah.
than what actually happened
Right.
to this kid.
That's what I'm thinking about Deranged as well. Like I can't imagine that, hey, hiding in the corner of Ed Gein's actual living room would bear such entertaining fruit. I think it would probably be pretty boring, maybe a little depressing,
Yeah.
and it would be a little creepy because he's bringing back parts of dead bodies. But I mean, that's not all the time. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Another movie that came to my mind was I think we talked a little bit about this before, maybe not on the show, but The Conjuring.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I was like when I was thinking about this, you never really want to say anything that sort of came out in the last couple of years because you don't want to sound like a tourist or anything like that. But there was like a slew of these, whether they were like exorcism or like possession movies that came out.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know, 2008 to 2011 or something like that. I really liked The Conjuring a lot. Actually, I was just going to say with like broad strokes, like anything that like the Ansons did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like they were debunked as frauds. I don't know, like a year or two after Amityville Horror was the biggest book in the world. Like they were absolutely debunked as frauds. But everyone just kept on thinking that they weren't after that. Like they're totally frauds. Like here's stacks of evidence to support that everything that they say is bullshit.
Did all those stacks of evidence come in paperback form though?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, The Conjuring was cool.
I thought there were some really good scary moments in The Conjuring. And you know what I liked? The jump scares were not the cheap jump scares. It wasn't a cat in a closet or a bird hitting the window. It was like a loud noise, and then it would whip pan over to whatever made the loud noise, and it was actually something that would be scary if I saw it in my own house.
Yeah.
Like those kind of jump scares are they're acceptable if it's something that would actually be scary.
Yeah.
And in The Conjuring, I thought they did a pretty sharp job of staying away from the cheap shot, and they had Lily Taylor on their side. So
that's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lily Taylor is probably my favorite actress ever.
Totally.
Like I'm in love with that woman all over the place. Yeah. Nothing she does upsets me.
Right. When the trailer came out for The Conjuring, I thought, okay, that looks okay. Oh, is that Lily Taylor? I didn't know this was a classy movie. Okay, I'm in. Count me in. Done and done.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. No, love that woman.
Yeah. Was there another one that you figured is better than the real life?
I don't know. Like I feel like we sort of talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, maybe even a little bit too much, but we both really love that movie. And again, sort of the same way with Deranged. Like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was probably way more entertaining than just creepy old Ed Gein.
I'm sure
that's for sure.
Yeah. Another movie I found that I did not know was based on a true story is Ravenous, which is based on a lot of especially a diary from what's his name? I even wrote it down because I thought it was cool. Alfred Packer.
Okay.
Like I don't know if it's his diary, but this Alfred Packer dude who was with the Donner Party was kind of the basis for Robert Carlyle's character.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I thought this movie was pretty tight when it came out. And I haven't seen it in a few years, but I saw it a couple times, and I really liked this one.
You know what? I think I think when that movie came out, I think I was in high school,
Mhm.
and I think that there was just sort of like some, I don't know, just some douchebag asshole or something like that I just really didn't like. I'd seen Ravenous, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this movie's the best," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm not seeing that movie. Like, if this guy likes it, like, there's no way I'm gonna like it."
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen it, and like, I really like Robert Carlyle, and I think like Guy Pearce is the
Guy
other
Pearce
guy,
is in
right?
it, yeah.
Yeah, I really like Guy Pearce, and
Yeah.
like, it's all about like cannibals and, you know, being a cowboy in the snow and all that shit.
Yeah, it's
like,
really cool.
pretty much everything. It's not like I see a movie just because there are cowboys in the snow, but like, you know, it's, you know, pretty much every movie, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty much everything I like in a movie, anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I do only watch exclusively movies with cannibals in them.
Okay.
And,
Fair
yeah.
enough. I mean, why
Yeah.
would you watch something else?
It's a little bit of like sort of like mental gymnastics to pretend that like Meg Ryan is eating a person when she's not on screen.
Okay.
But it works out. It works out. Yeah.
Yes. That like she just got done like sucking the flesh off some like severed toes she has in the fridge before
Yeah,
she goes on
exactly.
her date with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. And like whenever someone's having a meal, like it's just always pretending that that's like human liver.
Right.
You know.
Right on.
Yeah, actually, you know, and you know, I was trying to think if there was any sort of like documentaries or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, like a documentary is just, it might be closer to the truth than like a, you know, based on a true story movie, but like it's still, they're editing around the boring parts and they're kind of doing whatever.
Yeah.
And the two that really stuck out for me would be Paradise Lost,
Okay.
which is about the, I think they were called the Mississippi 3.
Yeah.
You know these guys?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that was, I think that was one of like the first sort of like HBO original movies, and I think it really helped put them on the map.
Right.
But like, there's Paradise Lost, and I think the second one was just called Paradise Found, or I don't know, it was just doing whatever.
Okay.
And these movies were incredible.
Mhm.
Like, they were really, really good. You know, a good documentary, I think, is one that doesn't really need a narrator to carry the story. It's
Right.
just, you know, it's, you know, just bold, like a bold journalistic
Yeah.
attitude and great editing.
Okay.
So like the Paradise Lost was really, really good.
Okay.
And then the other one was Zoo. Did you ever see
yeah.
Zoo?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Zoo is
That's
a
crazy.
super duper disturbing,
Yeah.
disturbing movie.
That's rough.
For those of you listening that don't know, there was a viral video on, well, like that was on the internet, you know, viral, but in like a weird way,
Yeah.
where this dude gets
Well, bang.
kind of banged to death by a
Yeah.
horse.
And apparently this
And,
guy was just like he was into this. This was his thing.
Yeah, and so what the film sort of explores is that, I guess, in Washington State, I'm sure it's changed now. It would have had to have changed now, but in Washington State for the longest time, bestiality was only a misdemeanor.
Right.
And
Oh,
so
man.
these two guys went to Washington State and started a
like a ranch.
like a ranch.
Yeah.
Where people could come from all over the world,
Yeah.
and just do their thing.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so this movie explores the investigation,
Mm-hmm.
like the federal investigation that took place after this guy was, you know, made love to death.
Yeah. And wasn't it
by-
something like I don't remember exactly. It's been a while, but like didn't he like he was into getting fucked by the horse, and then
Yeah.
this one last time, like he really went all out, and his buddy was there, and like he didn't die on the horse penis, but he
didn't.
he had internal injuries, and then his buddy just kind of like rolled by the hospital and kicked him out and said, "Okay, ciao, man. Good luck."
That was basically it.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's
That's a rough.
I don't want to ruin too much of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure you've already, if you haven't seen it, you've already kind of decided now whether you're going to see it or not. But like, you know,
Oh man.
I think it's fair to say that there aren't too many sort of horror documentaries made, and like
this one qualifies.
This one gets there.
Yeah.
This one gets there pretty hard.
Everybody, just leave animals alone. They don't need this kind of attention. They don't need this in their lives. They'll find love when and where they want it. They don't need our help.
I always dreamed that this podcast would sort of be a soapbox for our, you know, anti bestiality.
Eventually, it was going to come to this. You know,
it was going to get there. So this is a fine time. Yes. This is a fine time to do it.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. Let's just go for it.
Don't mess around with animals.
Don't fuck that pigeon.
No,
it doesn't need
put
that.
Put it down. Just put it down.
Yeah, just put that. Don't even touch it. They're dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. For honorable mentions, like this is, but maybe we start at the top of, like, with movies that are probably like 99% sure that it's better than the real life. Okay. And then, like, here I'm about to introduce an idea of, what about movies that break even? And then, like, in the last half of the hour, we'll really, like, dig into a couple movies where, why did they make this? Why didn't they just tell the real story? But, like, right now, I found a few that maybe are not as amazing as the real story, but they're not worse either. Like, they're both good. I guess that's what I mean. Like, where it's like breaks even. And I didn't know where to put it. And so I'll just shoehorn it right into this before it turns into an awkward silence. The Hills Have Eyes is based.
I was just about to say The Hills Have Eyes,
which is a super badass movie, and for it to be based on a true story, that's got to be a pretty badass story.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine it not being crazy to find, cave dwelling psychos who were discovered to have eaten maybe, I don't know, like every person that came through their territory. Totally insane.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree.
I know.
With you.
I don't know why.
I literally had nothing to say to that.
And
absolutely.
The other one was The Entity, which I knew was based on a true story, but I think with this one, this one really goes forward with, it's an entity. It's a spirit torturing this woman and her family, and blah, blah, blah. I'm cynical in all this. I'm not cynical. I'm skeptical in all this kind of stuff. I'm a diehard skeptic, and so I think the movie is not bad. The movie's pretty cool. I like the movie. I also think the real life story of this woman's experiences, whatever the source might have been, would also be really interesting to see. It would probably clearly it would be more of a drama than a horror movie, but I think that would be interesting. The last one I found, which has to be, 50-50, is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh yeah. No, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, this movie is so. It just left me feeling dirty the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
and I can only imagine this guy's life would also leave one feeling a little dingy afterwards. Yeah.
What's one that I saw? Was The Possession.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see The Possession?
Is that the one where she goes to Rome, or?
No, The Possession's the one where the little girl buys a terrifying an old Hebrew exorcism box.
Okay.
At a garage sale, and she ends up getting possessed by the spirit that possessed the box.
It's like a Jewish version of the lament configuration from Hellraiser.
It was, you know what? It was actually almost like a Jewish exorcist in a way.
Okay.
Seriously,
right.
it was super cool because you're dealing with really old religion, right? And that's with I don't know, it was super cool.
Right on.
And even at the end, it was a rabbi performing the exorcism, and it just seemed very I don't know, old religion, kind of old magic, stuff. It was really, really cool.
Cool.
And I was reading some more about the true story behind that. And yeah, there was this box that somebody found, and weird shit started to happen, and then like they packed it up and they sold it, whatever, and like some guy ended up buying it and got hit by a truck or something like that. Like, it's like the story itself is creepy enough. But the movie was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really benign, and it was like a really I don't know. I don't believe anything. Like, I don't believe any of the true story, whatever bullshit crap. But like the way that they sort of handled this exorcism and like the whole business of being possessed seemed like a lot more, I don't know, toned down or believable, anyways, than spider walking and head flipping and all of that, like cool Regan O'Neill stuff. Yeah,
it reminds me a little bit of the Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I like that one. The first time I saw it, I didn't dig it, and I don't know why. The second time I saw it a few years later, I really dug it. And this one does have, in the end, it does devolve into the spider head flip, double jointed rubber girl, and I accepted it the second time I saw it. I'm not sure why. And I don't know if it's... I really like Scott Derrickson's style of directing. It seems like a really cool hybrid of the old, clean style of the 70s and this new, sharp style that we always see. And yeah, I kind of like that. Like, this one also, for me, broke even. Like, I can imagine the real story was also just as interesting as the movie itself. I like how it stayed benign and it stayed with the priest. Like, I like the way they painted the priest in that one. That one, it was very different than the normal route that the exorcism movies take, in my opinion.
The thing that I never really enjoy about like reading any of the true stories about any of the possessions or exorcisms or all of that is that typically these are children from like super duper fundamentalist religious families who have been abused. Yeah. And it's, like, oh, hey, all I did was, yell and beat the shit out of my, probably, we won't know that for like another 80 years, but like probably quasi autistic kid. Right. And he's misbehaving, so I'm gonna call a priest and put this kid through hell because it can't be anything we're doing. It can't be anything the kid's born with. Right. Like it's got to be Malachi, the demon of whatever. I'm just making up a name. I have no idea.
That's rough.
But it's just really weird.
I totally agree. Like, these, to show the real story, I think would like I said, it would be a drama. It would be the dramatic tale of a family that broke their child, and now they're trying to repair the child with their atavistic, weird faith. And it's and we just get to watch them stomp on the pieces of their broken child.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too real or anything like that. We gotta based on a true story topic to talk about. I don't want to get too serious, but no, it's I don't know. They've done so many like the whole mental health. Yeah, I don't know, sensitivity, whatever you want to call it. Like, that landscape has just changed so much, and like even the last 50 years. Yeah, right. And to put your preteen in a hospital because I don't know, he's too bipolar or whatever it is. Like, how traumatic is that going to be for that kid at that time? Like, I don't know, I couldn't imagine just being like a scared 9-year-old and having like 30 priests stand around me screaming at me. Right. Like, I'd probably flip out too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's fucking weird. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Welcome to our comedy podcast about horror movies. We're glad we could entertain you tonight.
Do you want to talk about mockumentaries?
Mockumentaries. Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's The Last Broadcast, which don't watch that movie. It's really.
I wanted to love this movie. I wanted to so bad when I heard about it.
I know.
Because like I saw the Blair Witch Project and I saw this and I like that and I thought, oh my God, it's like it's based on the Last Broadcast. It's got to be awesome. And then I finally found it at the video store near my house when I lived in Philadelphia. And I was like, oh shit, you have the Last Broadcast. And the dude's like, yeah, we just found a copy and so we got it in. It's like, hell yeah. And I took it home and I'm like, I can't fucking wait. And I put it in. And I'm just telling myself with every scene, like, okay, I can see what they're going for. It's cool.
They're building up to something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to get cool. But yeah, no, it just doesn't,
It doesn't.
And then that guy did that thing.
Right.
Really? All right.
And, I think it would have been, this movie would have been, it would not have made our list with so much disdain if they had just followed their own rules. Like at the very end, they broke their own rule of the documentary.
It was so bad. And that happens all the time with those movies too, which just kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. All it takes is just follow your own rules. You don't have to follow anyone else's rules, but like when you set up some rules, follow them. And
exactly.
That's all it takes. Like I've already tricked myself into wanting to like your movie. I rented it. I'm taking the time and the money to do it. I'm already on your side,
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Dude, I bought it. It was like, I'm gonna love this movie. It's gonna be in my collection. I'm gonna be super proud of it. Like anytime, a friend comes over and I'll, hey, have you seen The Last Broadcast? And they'll say no, and I'll go, and then we'll watch it together and be like, how was that?
You already rehearsed your.
He'll be like, oh shit, and then. Yes. And yeah, I watched it with like a buddy, and I don't know, we started it at midnight. Yeah. And it felt like it was over at 4 a.m.
Yes.
And like the movie's only like maybe an hour and 50 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, oh God.
It's rough.
My favorite one of those is The Last Exorcism.
Yes. I really like this one.
Loved that movie.
I like the actors in this movie. I like the way it rolled out. I like how it unfolded. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it had some pretty good scares in there as well, I think.
Yeah, it did. I just thought it was super cool. Yeah. Like it was kind of like I'm not a huge fan of the whole, because like it just seemed like every single fucking movie that came out like for a couple of years was like, oh hey, we don't have the budget to actually.
It's still happening. I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like I check out every new horror movie trailer that stumbles into the internet, and it's really like the ratio is still pretty high of found footage, and it's like, come on, man, it's not a crutch. Like it's if you really feel compelled to make a movie and you have a story to tell, okay, but. Like, I feel like the found footage horror movies are the grindhouse movies of the 70s, where people were just churning them out to make a quick buck on the 42nd Street theaters. And it's, ugh. But like, I think where you're going, like The Last Exorcism, like they kind of used that gimmick as a pretty clever story element.
Like whenever I watch any of those like found footage movies, I just always take a minute to ask myself if like, would this movie be better or worse if it weren't like an over the shoulder, just like following the camera's a character, all that. Like, would it be better or worse? And I was on the fence a little bit about the Last Exorcism.
Yeah.
And I think I still am. Like, I would love to see that. I would have loved to have seen that movie if it was just a movie.
Right.
But it definitely works as a found footage over, like voyeuristic, whatever sort of movie. I thought it was really great. I really, really liked it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. And you know what, I haven't, like, the Blair Witch Project is still like on like, probably like my top 10 worst movies, most hated movies ever for me. So like whenever I see like a found footage, it's just the whole The whole thing just didn't do it for me at all. At all.
I had an inside track on this one. Like the first time I saw it, I really liked it, and it had some really, like, it was scary, and I'll tell you how, and I'll tell you why. It's
okay.
Because when this one came out, I was living in Philadelphia, and I worked at Starbucks, and we would get a few people that worked, in the movie industry in New York and stuff like that. They would come by our store. We were right on the way to the off ramp and shit like that. And this one dude came in, and I knew he worked on some independent films, and for not for the movies, but for the marketing. Like, he worked in the marketing department of a cable station, and he said that there's going to be a movie coming out about a witch. It's going to be he said it's probably going to be called Blair Witch Project. In about 3 months, there's going to be so much media coverage and hype. Don't watch any of it. Like, really. Because him and I would want to talk about movies whenever he came in. And so he knew I was completely mental for movies, and especially horror movies. And he said, do yourself a favor. Like, the studio is going to go absolutely bonkers with hyping this movie. Because the movie, like, he didn't say it at the time, but, like, it's clear now. The movie was made for, what, like $32,000 or something like that? And so that's millions of dollars that the studio now had to use for marketing instead of buying the movie. And that's what the studio did. Like, after a few months, I started to hear this thing about the Blair Witch Project, and I remember what he said, and I completely did a great job of skipping all of the hype. I didn't hear anything. I didn't listen to anything. There were, 30-minute documentaries about this movie on TV and on cable, and there were all these trailers. I just skipped it all. And then when it came out, I went and saw the movie in a really tiny, shitty little theater in Philadelphia, where it was really small and cramped. And I think I was in there with maybe 2 other people. And so my brain was completely fresh. I was tabula rasa in the theater.
Yeah.
And in that way, and I saw it on opening night. And so, like, I didn't hear any reviews. I didn't know. All I knew was that this was a found footage movie about 3 people who went to find a witch. And that's it.
Right.
And so I think I was maybe one of 5 people in America that was not infected with the hype. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
So there are 2 demographics.
Yes.
I guess, of people who really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. Hermits. And brain dead.
There are people who literally have never heard of the movie before prior to seeing it, and maybe have inside information from like a Hollywood studio marketer.
Yes.
Like, that's the one demographic.
Yeah. I realize I'm in a very small market right now.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely. And then the other groups of people who I knew that really enjoyed this movie were people who lived by the woods.
Okay.
So, or who had to walk by woods on their way home or something like that.
Right.
And, like, it's like, okay, well, like, we've covered all of the bases.
That's it.
Who
else do you need?
Hey, hey, do you live by a forest? Yeah, I mean, sort of. I got to walk by one on the way home. Oh, okay, yeah, you're good. We'll put you there.
Well, come on over.
Hey, how many, what do you think the likelihood of, like, like a studio advertiser giving you inside information about a film is? Like, so when do you think that would happen? How likely is that? It's like, pretty likely. It's like, okay, we're making this movie for you. It's a terrible film. Just a terrible movie.
Maybe.
Boring. Hey, yeah, just that's the worst. And I was
reading.
It's
not the worst. Let's not go crazy.
It's really bad. It's a really bad.
I think
movie.
I think the hype. I think the hype killed this movie. Because it's not that bad. It's the template for so many movies.
Let's even say that this movie is okay.
Yeah, it's definitely okay.
For the purposes of my argument,
yes,
I'm willing to concede and say that the Blair Witch Project is okay.
Okay, good.
So, with an hour and a half,
yeah,
would you like to watch something that is okay, or would you literally like to do anything else
Yeah, if you put it like that.
for 90 minutes?
But really, are you seriously going to ignore all the other hour and a halves in your life where you watched something that was okay? I mean, how many?
I didn't know it was just okay at the time.
Yeah,
like I would
nobody
literally
does.
never watch the Blair Witch Project again, and I would, as I am doing now. I told you from the start, Big Human Dead is a soapbox for
bestiality
my hatred
Yes.
of zoophiles,
Uh-huh.
and B, my hatred for the Blair Witch Project. This was always the plan. This was always the vehicle for that.
I was hoping that I would have time to thaw your heart, maybe.
No,
No,
absolutely.
I'm not an advocate.
Absolutely,
I'm not an advocate for the Blair Witch Project, but it's not nearly as bad as people think. But I will say that I liked it when I first saw it, as I said, fresh and new in the world, and
Right.
then I took my friend to go see it because I was pretty impressed the first time I saw it because and it was obviously because of this. I'm not. This isn't a defense for the movie. This is a defense for the tactic I used before I saw it, of being completely
straight up.
Yeah, because I saw it again with my friend, and we saw it in like a megaplex stadium seating kind of place, and he did listen to all the hype. He didn't give a shit, so he watched the special feature on it and all this and that, and so he knew everything about it, and I had already seen it once. And when I saw it that second time, it was maybe one of the most nausea-inducing, boring times I've ever had in the theater. But that first time was very special. Like I cannot forsake the first time. The second time, I almost threw up twice because of the shaky cam.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is the one thing that filmmakers latched onto after the Blair Witch Project. Like, this is not a quality. This does not add realism. This is, I mean, this even got into big movies like do you remember Syriana? This was one of these social commentary movies produced by Steven Soderbergh and George Clooney.
Yeah, it was George Clooney was in it. Yeah,
and it's a good story. Like it's a story I think that's worth telling. But I mean, the shaky cam got all the way into movies such as this, and I hate the shaky cam. This does not make me feel like I'm in the room with them.
Well, I mean, like there are times where it really works, and when it works, it's like at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan, when like D-Day's happening, and it's like whoa,
But there's a way to do it.
It's not like the it's not like the camera's a person, but like there's that movement. It's creating some.
Yeah, there's some kinetic energy happening.
Yeah,
but like there's a way to do it that doesn't make me feel like I'm watching a GoPro stuck to a guy's head who has palsy or something. It's yeah. But anyway, like this.
Yeah. I would have phrased it differently.
Yeah?
But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay. Maybe someone who's like mentally disabled with palsy. Fair enough.
That's so much better. That's a lot better. Yeah, yes. Just a wacky legged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just.
Yeah, and so I will concede also that Blair Witch it is a terrible movie, but I was just defending my one moment of fun with the movie, but I didn't. I realize like how much fun I didn't have the second time I saw it. Yeah,
we should hit a song real fast, but I just wanted to mention two really quickly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if one of them counts because it's more of like a true crime probably rather than a horror, but Man Bites Dog is quite possibly one of the single greatest films ever.
Agreed.
And that is a mockumentary about a serial killer in France, and it gets way
Yeah.
more intense as it goes along.
Mm-hmm. It starts off like I'm laughing with them, I'm having a good time with them.
But they don't change anything.
Yeah.
Like they don't change the context.
Yeah.
It's like they just slowly turn up the stakes
Mm-hmm.
until you realize at a certain point that you've been laughing your ass off at a like a psychopath.
Yeah.
For the last little bit. And I remember the first time I saw that movie, I think I was like an hour in, and like there's the scene.
Mhm.
Let's not ruin anything,
No.
but there's that scene.
Yeah.
And I did not laugh.
No.
And I felt terrible
Yeah.
about laughing at any joke
Mm-hmm.
prior to that.
Right.
It was really, really weird.
It's really subversive how they start it and ramp it up until they like pull away the veil. Like you have to
it's
pull
ju-
away the
it's
veil
just
yourself. a
Great,
little.
great filmmaking. Yeah.
And it's almost the opposite
Um,
of the last broadcast, where like this movie,
Yeah.
it sticks to its rules all the way through, and so you really like it really hits you at
Yeah.
the end because like there's no wavering.
No, they just go for it.
Yeah.
And it's I you know, perhaps a perfect movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just really, really good.
Agreed.
And the other one real fast, and I know you'll agree with me on this one too, was Quarantine.
Yes.
I didn't like REC that much.
No.
It was just it was almost a little too shaky cam
Yeah,
for me.
I agree.
But Quarantine did a great job.
I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Agreed.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, let's do something. Let's shake it up.
Yes.
Let's shake it up.
Okay.
Let's do something fun.
For this part, I have one movie. Like I was looking at all the based on a true story movies.
No, I thought we were gonna do our bit. You got a bit for me.
Snap! You're right.
I'm just saying. Come on.
Good call. Good call.
I'm the only one who reads this thing.
Okay.
All right.
I made a theme song for this one as well.
Okay.
It goes like this. Dun, 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 dun. Movie or news story?
You gotta mumble the first part.
A movie or news story? News story.
A news story.
It's a movie or a news story.
I love this game. This is my new favorite game.
Okay. Right on.
Movie a news story.
I'm going to read a sentence or a couple sentences. It's going to be like a brief synopsis. You're going to tell me, is this the boiled down, stripped down plot to a horror movie, or is this the finer points of a news story?
Let's wager your soul on this one because I have a feeling that I might actually do okay. With this one.
Maybe.
Let's
I don't know
do
how up to date you are on current events.
I do my best.
Yeah. Okay.
I do my best. Yeah, I do my best.
My soul might be being sent to Vienna from Toronto,
It's possible.
or
It's
it
possible,
might
yeah.
be staying where it is. We'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the first one. Start off with an easy one.
Okay.
A vat of green slime can read and react to brainwaves via electric headset apparatus.
Yeah, that's totally true.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called the Solaris Project
Mm.
in Russia, named after the Stanislav Lem story.
Great.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need sentient slime.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be based on a true story horror movie in the future. You know it is.
I was reading today that The Blob is based on a true story.
Yes.
Which okay. Like that's where it falls apart
Right.
for me. Anyways. All right.
Yeah. Okay. A young New York artist suspected of murdering others after his agent is found dead in his apartment.
I think that's a movie.
Yes, Driller Killer from Abel
Okay.
Ferrara, 1979. Yeah. All right. A woman is found in a home, booby-trapped with over 37,000 bladed weapons.
I think that's a movie as well.
That is true. That happened in
God.
Florida. And she was arrested for being the booby trapper.
Really?
Yes. Welcome to Florida.
What a... Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay.
It was knives, swords, and other bladed weapons, as they stated. Okay. So what's that? That's 2-1. I didn't even keep track.
Get your shit together, Florida. This is this is just the worst.
Totally.
Nothing against Floridians. Or actually, I guess a lot against Floridians.
Yes.
Like what's the problem? Can we
Good question.
It's like they just need to sit down.
Yeah, I grew up there for part of my formative years.
Yeah.
And I still have some family there. I don't know why they're still there. They seem happy, but they've also insulated themselves against the whole world out there. And so I think that's the only explanation for it. Like Florida, maybe I said it once on the show already, but like I think my theory is Florida hit 1975 or so and said, "We're good here. You go ahead without me. I'll catch up later. Don't worry." And then and there it sat, 1975, and it hasn't joined us yet.
Florida is just that one uncle who's like 63 and who's still in a band, and like
yes,
like is positive that this year is their year.
Yeah, and he's the one that gets caught. You know, like they turn on the light in a room, and he's with an underage girl and just didn't realize. What I didn't know what's going on, and they're like, "Uncle, it's the family reunion. What are you doing?"
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing with obviously your niece and hundreds of bladed weapons?
Yes. I didn't know. Gotta go,
I didn't. Yeah. Oh God. All right.
Yeah. Okay. On we go. A thief hides a treasure at the bottom of a reservoir, and he stocks the reservoir with piranha to protect it. The scheme is discovered when police found drowned and mangled bodies from the piranha.
I'm gonna say that's a and only because I know a little bit about piranhas.
Yeah.
And piranhas don't do that.
What?
Piranhas don't eat.
Are you
piranhas
saying?
Don't eat.
Huh? They don't eat.
Yeah, piranhas don't eat. Piranhas don't eat flesh like that.
Are you saying that there's little creative or misrepresentation in the animal kingdom?
With piranhas, yeah,
Okay.
I think we can probably just back off and leave piranhas alone because they're not as voracious as everyone. This is, by the way, this is just like my sort of monologue is just the prologue to any Jurassic Park type movie.
Okay.
You know, I think like I will die after being devoured by piranhas.
Yeah. Right.
Just because I said that,
Yeah.
and that'll be interesting. But yeah, that's absolutely a movie.
It
That's
is.
absolutely
It's
a
called
movie.
Killer Fish from 1979
Right on.
with Lee Majors.
Oh God,
So yeah,
love that man.
Hallmark of
love
quality.
that man to death.
Love
yeah.
him. Okay. An island resort owned by a famous beach musician did I even write this right? Oh, nearly 20 tourists at an island resort owned by a famous beach music musician are found murdered.
Yeah, that's a James Buffett anecdote, is it not? That's a true story.
It is not. It's Club Dread, where Bill Paxton Bill Paxton played a Jimmy Buffett analog.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Almost.
I love that movie. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Yeah, it's okay.
I liked it.
Yeah?
I like those Broken Lizard guys.
Yeah.
I think
They can really
fun.
do a kick-ass job sometimes.
Yeah. All right.
All right. We're at 3-2.
Mm.
Your favor.
Okay.
Okay. Man surfs the internet for 14 consecutive days, collapses, but demands to stay by a computer so he can keep surfing.
That can't be a movie because that just sounds like the worst movie ever. That's a true story.
I feel like it's one of these one of these new horror movies where it's like, oh, it's what you chat in the website happens in real life. No, it's some crazy dude from China did this.
I heard about a dude, like a bunch of dudes who like died playing died from malnourishment
Yeah.
because they were playing Warcraft too much.
Yeah, like
And,
there's a healthy industry over there for for psychologists breaking people
Yeah.
of internet and game addictions. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
A small performance group steal a deceased actor's body. Later, they are attacked, maimed, and murdered by an unnamed assailant.
I want to say that it's a movie. When you were first starting out, I'm like, is this like a Weekend at Bernie's thing? But no, I think this is a. That's a movie.
Yeah?
That's a movie. Yeah.
That is Frightmare from 1983.
Right on. All right.
Yeah.
Are we done?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because I got your soul.
No.
Like that's,
No. You still have a little bit of a fight ahead of you.
Okay.
And also
All right.
Frightmare, which I did not know for some reason, and I've seen this movie, and I'm sure you have too. That's Jeffrey Combs' first film, his cinematic debut. Do you remember this movie? This movie's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie. So like it does not tarnish the Jeffrey Combs gold
Favorite
streak
actor thing.
that we mentioned last time. Like it's this movie, it's shitty, but it's the right kind of shitty.
I'm positive I've seen Frightmare. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely positive that I've seen Frightmare.
I think as soon as you turn it on, you'll know in the first few seconds, like, oh, duh, yeah, of course I've seen this.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
one of these. I think it even has a couple different titles. You know, it's one of these
okay.
where they just kind of like switched the name so they could repackage it to a theater
Yeah.
in Hoboken or something.
Yeah.
Okay. A young, unpopular student at a private school becomes extremely proficient with an advanced computer technology that allows him to speak with others on a secret network. He later is found guilty of murdering almost 10 of the students.
I'd say that's a true story. I'm okay with saying that's a true story.
That is Clint Howard from Evil Speak.
For some reason, I was just like, all I could think of, I was just stuck on Lawnmower Man. I've just been having like a real like craving almost
Yeah.
to watch that movie again.
Jeff Fahey
Yeah, when
dancing through your dreams again, as he is wont to do.
that movie is so bad.
It's so fun though. It's rough.
It is once you can sort of get over like that there was a time
Yeah.
when this was really impressive technology.
Yes.
The movie's so much fun.
Yeah.
But like just
You know what I like? I like this weird
oh,
unbalanced.
he hacked the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand what's
Yeah.
happening right now. Okay.
I
yeah.
love this weird, this disjointed feeling I get when I watch like Pierce Brosnan. He's made some shitty movies, but for some reason, like he just has an air of distinguishability and class to him. And so to
Yeah.
see him in a movie like this, and Jeff Fahey, who is super fun to watch, no matter what he's doing,
Doesn't matter.
It's just like this vehicle that they're driving in is such a piece of shit. But I mean, it's so weird. Yeah.
I for one am a big fan of like not the books but the movie adaptations
Mhm.
of all of like Stephen King's
Well, yeah.
cocaine years
That's
stories. Like just Stephen King's cocaine years just wrote. Oh, they were so incredible.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
For me, the cherry on the cake of all those years is Maximum Overdrive, the one where he decided to take the helm himself and say,
I'm gonna direct this
yeah,
bitch.
yeah. I'll show you
This
what
is my
horror
Citizen
truly is.
Kane. Yeah,
Yes.
that's just perfect.
Yeah. I heard that that trailer where he says this, straight out, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to really scare you.
Yeah.
Is more of a mockery of all the other Stephen King adaptations. That he's really just saying, fuck off, everyone. Here's
Fuck
some
you,
big trucks.
Yeah. Fuck you, Kubrick.
Yes, exactly. All right, back to it.
Right.
Artisan cheese made from human parts and sold for a very high price.
That's a movie.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh,
An artist and I think it's a biochemist or something in Ireland joined up and made cheese from bacteria from their their armpits, their feet, and somewhere else on their body.
Stop.
Yeah. And the best part you is for each cheese made with a certain person's essence, that cheese then has the same or a similar aroma as that person's body. You're welcome.
I can't. The face that I'm making is not picking up on the microphone, but I can't. I really don't like that.
Yeah. Thanks, Ireland.
I really don't like that.
One of these days, that Irish sense of humor is going to go a little too far.
Ireland is the Florida of Europe. You should make that T-shirt.
Yes. All right. A woman stays awake for a full week due to a parasite living in her eye.
I think that's true. I think I actually read about that one.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a woman in the UK.
Yeah.
Ugh. Pass.
I've heard stories too about a perfectly wonderful, like healthy young person, going away on a vacation, like whether it's to like the Caribbean or like to South America or something like that, and like they come back with like a brain parasite.
Yes.
Oh, it's just absolutely. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, were there no gift shops on the pier for you to hit before you got it back on the boat, or what? What's happening?
Yeah,
there?
exactly. Yeah.
Or the bot flies, these bot flies where they come back with like the holes in their back, and then eventually they have to pull the larva out of their flesh.
Yeah.
No thanks.
There's one of the single greatest television shows ever is River Monsters.
Okay.
River Monsters is just incredible.
I don't know River Monsters.
It's just like this maniac
Uh-huh.
who goes quote unquote hunting for like freshwater, like freshwater, basically river monsters. Is
Okay.
basically like as opposed to sea monsters.
Right on.
And I think it's on Netflix, or it used to be on Netflix anyways. And there was this one sort of fish that he found where like the whole idea was that like a bunch of them would shoot at you, like would like swim at you.
Yeah.
And they would like swim like right up to you and like kind of take a bite and spin
Nice.
and like go away, and then like another one would come up and do that, and by doing so they're basically burrowing a hole in your body.
Okay.
Like they do this to other fish.
So it's not just for dramatics or for show. It's
No,
not just
so
a little
yeah,
flair.
Yeah, I'm sure they could probably be a little bit more demure about it, but they do it and it works for them, so it's cool.
Okay.
But yeah, the idea is that whether it's like with another fish or another creature, but it's happened to some humans where they actually get into the body,
Ooh.
and once they're in there, they just start eating you from the inside.
Ugh. Rough.
Just
So unnecessary.
so cool.
Yeah.
It's so very, very cool. Anyways, I could talk about River Monsters for hours.
Right on. Okay. Next one. British Isles prepare for a spider invasion due to environmental changes in the last year.
No, that's a movie. That's a bullshit movie.
That is true.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Environmental
like
changes affected a small town, the British Isles, where the winter was not as heavy and the summer was more humid, and so it did not kill off the last generation of spiders, and so they got bigger, they had babies, they multiplied too much, and now there's a town that is just, I think that it's already happened, but the town was braced for spider invasion.
Any story that it's like because of environmental conditions,
Yeah.
like changing environmental conditions, I don't believe that.
Yeah,
one.
it's a
I don't
knee-jerk
believe-
reaction.
yeah.
Fuck off.
I'm not gonna honor your point for that one.
No, it's true. It's
All
true.
right,
That's
all
what
right,
the scientists
fair
said. The scientists said, "Hey, it's environment. Mother Earth sent these motherfuckers to us."
And by the way, by the scientist
Yes.
that Rob is referring to is actually always standing 2 feet behind him whenever we do this podcast.
Yes.
Like he's right there.
Yeah, Greg,
Rob,
say hi.
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't ruin the illusion, Greg, asshole. Just back me up. Okay, a small town covered in thin webbing after spiders rain down from the sky?
Oh, I hate that. This used to be my favorite game. I'll say that's true. Why
That
not?
is true. A town in
Okay.
Australia.
It's not the same town.
It's not the same town.
No, that's bananas.
I know.
Okay.
All right. A small town invaded by large tarantulas that are known for being able to burrow tunnels, crawl over ground, or go underwater in an air bubble of their own construction.
I'm I'm gonna say that this is a movie, and I really, really hope that it isn't.
This is absolutely true. They are called the dividing tarantula because they
I'm
can.
so happy.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad. That
Yeah, this,
makes me so very happy.
yeah. This also happened
Yeah.
in Australia.
Okay, good.
And the last
Yeah.
one, a small town infested with spiders bred between two different species. Many were sent to the hospital with poisonous bites, and there were at least 3 deaths.
Trying to remember, what was the name of that William Shatner movie?
Kingdom of the Spiders. That movie
Yes.
is amazing. I love this one.
I'm gonna say that that's Kingdom of the Spiders, just because that's on my to-do list again. I gotta watch Kingdom of the Spiders again.
Oh, it's so good. William is so good in this.
The very opening scene where like the spiders are coming at the cow.
Yes.
And they shoot the cow with a bunch of like
Yeah.
low angle.
Yeah, and it's like rustling through the grass.
Yeah. The spiders are stalking a cow,
Yes.
and it's just glorious.
You get
Yeah.
half a point
Well-
because it's not Kingdom of the Spiders, but it is a movie. It's Arachnophobia.
Is that I thought more people died in arachnophobia.
Hmm. A few more, but I wasn't sure, but I said at least 3.
Yeah.
So I actually won this one. You got 6.5 points, and I came away with 8 points.
What?
That's one soul delivered back to its owner. Yeah, you made the rules on this one.
I shouldn't have just thrown that point away.
Boom.
Would have won by half a point.
It's true.
That's bullshit.
I need to watch Kingdom of the Spiders again.
I do need to watch Kingdom of the Spiders again.
Yeah. That one does not have a thing at the end where it says no animals were harmed in the making of this movie.
There's a lot of movies that like Beastmaster I don't think has that.
No.
Which I feel like
Yeah.
I would have liked for them to have that.
Yeah. It's hard because I love Beastmaster with a nostalgic fire that will forever burn. But I love animals way more than movies. Like it's hard to say. Like I don't think any animal should ever be hurt or even coerced into any kind of thing for a movie.
Yeah, even if it's consensual.
Yeah. I don't need it.
Again,
yeah.
getting back to our previous topic,
Yeah.
like, no animals should be hurt. No animals should be made love to.
Yeah. Right.
Even if they,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't really believe in this grandfather clause of seeing an old, like when I see these old Westerns where, the bad guys or whoever guys are riding away on their horse and an army is attacking them and there's an explosion and then the horse falls over and you can clearly see that they just tripped the horse with a rope that pops out of the dirt.
Yeah.
I've turned movies off. Like call me a sissy. I don't give a shit. But I've just turned movies off. I just don't dig it. I dig it so little that it's fuck them.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I like in all seriousness, I could not agree with you more.
Mm-hmm.
And but an interesting I guess I don't know, anecdote or whatever you want to call it. When Conan the Barbarian came out, there were a lot of like animal rights groups that were attacking that movie.
When he punches the camel.
Yes, when he punches the camel, but which I don't know. I think he did actually punch the camel, which was terrible.
Yeah.
But like all of the stunts and everything involving animals, they just had an awesome stunt coordinator.
Okay.
So like anytime like a horse falls over or like whatever it is, like they just had like really really great, like well trained, intelligent animals and a bitchin' stunt coordinator.
Right.
And to listen to the stunt coordinator like defend himself against some of the allegations is like it's really really good.
I've never heard his. Is he on like a commentary track or something?
Yeah, it's the commentary on it's either a commentary or it's like a featurette or something like that on the on the Conan the Barbarian DVD. It's really worth checking out. Like it's really well done.
Right on.
It's really well done. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we were going to touch on movies where like the real story was better.
Yes. Do you have one in mind? I have one that's like I got some facts to back me up. I was H.L. Mencken digging up the dirt on this one.
I was actually thinking. I mean, just even right now, I was thinking maybe it's a little bit more meta than what you were looking for. But like, you know, as much as I love, you know, Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2,
yeah,
and like you know all of whatever the Evil Dead movies or whatever it is, the like the story of how all of those got made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find to be way more fascinating than
it's true.
You know, like if Chins Could Kill is an amazing
such a good book.
Really, really good book. And like as much as I love Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness and all of those, I kind of feel like the film is made, the movies are made better knowing what I know about the behind the scenes process of all of that.
Totally.
Which I think that's kind of not what we're talking about, but I think it's an interesting way to
yeah, Greg says that's a
that
complete
anyways.
cheat and a real way to skirt around the issue, but he's interested anyway, so
yeah,
we'll
I get it.
we'll allow it.
I get it. Totally fine. Totally fine.
Thanks, Greg. You can go get a sandwich now. No, I agree. Like it's cool. It's a cool tack to take on this one. Like those movies, I know you've probably seen them a million times, and I've seen those movies. I'm sure everyone listening has seen those movies a million times. And I don't know, have you heard the commentary tracks on their DVDs and stuff like that? They're
I think I did for Evil Dead 2 once, but it was, I don't know, it might have been 5-10 years ago.
It's worth it to, when I bought the DVDs years ago, I watched the movies a few times again, and then I listened to the commentary tracks, and the price of the disc is made worth it from the commentary track alone. And it's essentially them just rehashing all these stories from If Chins Could Kill, and any interview, anything you hear, anything you read, it's them just jibber jabbering and telling, you know, shitty slapstick jokes and anecdotes about the history of how they came together with, you know, Raimi and Campbell and Tappert and who was the shit? Ivan.
Sorry, who are you?
Totally the other one, like the third.
Oh yeah,
the third dude.
I think it was Raimi and Robert Tappert.
Yeah,
Ivan Raimi was there,
and
Ted Raimi.
And there's one. This is stupid. It's gonna hit me in the middle of the night. We're just gonna call him Jerry Salmon, because
I think it's Ivan Raimi, isn't it?
Yeah, he was the writer.
Yeah,
the brother of Sam. But then there's
Ted Raimi.
There was
Campbell.
another producer, and his last name starts with an S, I think. Shit. Anyway, they're all like these goofy people, these goofy guys. And yeah, I highly recommend the commentary tracks, because it's essentially what you're talking about. It's them telling the story over and over again.
Scott Spiegel.
That's it. Scott Spiegel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know Raimi and Tappert are sort of synonymous. Yeah. Synonymous with each other.
Yeah, and I agree. Like the story of them getting together doing these movies is just as interesting, if not more so, than the movies themselves.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and especially since there's just from like shithole Michigan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not like they're Hollywood brats. You know,
right?
It's not like their dads were famous in the industry or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're just like a bunch of kids who really, really liked the Three Stooges and
Mm-hmm.
loved making movies, and they all do it now.
Yeah.
Which is, just super cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
For my part, I found, where's it at?
What are you doing?
Sorry, I was.
We've had a lot of awkward pauses in this one. I've noticed.
Yes.
I just noticed. A lot of it's just me making weird faces, which is not. It's not helping anything.
Yes. My movie for the real life way better than the real movie. And listeners, please don't tune out if you're a fan of this movie. It's an okay movie. I think it's cool. And Brad Dourif, if you're listening, I love you. You did an amazing job. But the true story that Child's Play is based on is fucking nuts.
Yeah, I was reading about that today too. That
Yeah.
was really strange.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's based on this dude, Robert Eugene Otto.
yeah, he was an author, I thought.
Yeah, author and a painter. And he was given this when he was a boy. He was given this doll dressed up like a little sailor and his dog, and it was given to him by a house servant, or a female house servant that was abused. And this lady was obviously was said to be proficient in voodoo, and so she cursed this doll and gave it to young Robert in hopes that it would just terrorize him and the family for retribution of her abuse. And let's see here, what else did I find? It's and it did torment Robert relentlessly, as the reports go. His parents would hear him speaking to the doll, and then they would hear responses to their son in a voice different from their son's.
Yeah.
They would hear footsteps. They would hear all this chaos, commotion. Robert would always blame it on the doll. Neighbors and family friends claimed to have seen the doll blink, laugh, and even walk around when the Otto family was not present. I think these are some fame seekers, to be honest.
Probably, I'm sure there are some exaggerations, but like the fact that it's documented and whatever, like it's kind of, it's a cool fucking story. It's way cooler than, like your typical 80s family.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
And I think that's a cool build up. Maybe that's a cool half of a first act, but I think the story really kicks into high gear when Robert is an adult. That it says after mom and dad died, he moved back to the family homestead with his wife. And then when he saw the doll again, the doll was not thrown away, even though the parents, whatever, this walking around blinking and bullshit.
It's a perfectly good doll.
Yeah, I mean, why did you throw that away? Come on, put it in the attic. Yeah, we can.
It's not like
use it later.
This ain't the 80s. We can't just go out and buy a new doll.
Right.
Like,
It's a goddamn sailor outfit. I mean, come on. You did it. We owe him a debt of gratitude for our country, goddammit. And so Robert found the doll in the attic, and he immediately rekindled this deep connection to the doll. So much so that his wife was completely disturbed and skeezed out by it. And it said, we're leaving it in the attic. Robert says, no, we're bringing it down from the attic. And furthermore, we're going to give it its own room. And so what happens? The doll stays in the attic. The wife said, no go on this one. Fuck you. Fuck your separate doll room. Get downstairs and make some goddamn dinner. And so the doll stays in the attic. But we hear footsteps running around upstairs, laughing, commotion happening upstairs in the attic. All of, this says Robert. And visitors would hear this as well, obviously, of course. And then after Robert dies in 1974, another family moves into the house. And the 10-year-old girl from this family starts exhibiting similar signs and telling stories of similar terrorism, because the doll was still in the attic or something. What?
Oh man,
He's a national
This
hero.
is
Stop!
yeah.
Can't throw him away.
It's a simpler time.
Yeah, obviously. Now the doll lives in.
What, do you have money for a new doll?
Yeah, right. Now the doll lives in a museum in a big glass box in Key West.
Yeah.
So the dolls live in
great.
large.
Florida.
Florida, yeah, perfect.
Let's send the doll to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this essentially, like, if I were to make this movie, it would probably not be a horror movie. It would be maybe a little creepy, but this is a movie of a deep psychosis.
Yeah.
And it would be very entertaining, and it would be disturbing, but in the way that I don't know, like when a comedic actor does a breakout role in a drama where they play a disabled or terminally ill person.
Right.
That's what this movie would be. That's what this movie would have. This is the awakenings of possessed horror doll movies.
I guess so. I don't think that the movie just doesn't work if no one threw the doll away for some
Right?
goddamn reason.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what makes it so interesting, because in a movie we would just be like we do in all doll movies. Dude, it's a doll. Just kick it out the window. You're done. Done and done.
Yeah.
But here in the real world, in the real life, what's happening? Look at the fine stitching on this sailor's outfit. You can't buy that nowadays. Keep it.
Look, honey, I understand that the doll is haunted
Yes.
and he's tormenting our son. Money's tight. I can't just go out there and buy a new doll.
Yeah.
We don't have to buy a new doll. We just have to.
Get
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Every
easy.
house, yeah. Hang on, yeah. Says who? The other one that I was thinking of, and again, this one's kind of cheating a little bit because it's a movie based on a book, which is, but a large, arguably, 80% of Count Dracula's mythology is based off of Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh yeah,
Bathory.
I've always heard of Bathory.
Yeah, who was a beautiful woman. I think this was in, again, like the 1700s.
Right.
I think it was somewhere. It wasn't England. It was either Germany. I don't know. I should have looked it up before I did this. When I was preparing for Waterloo, I was reading all about her and all this stuff.
Okay.
But at a certain point, she decided that she was aging. Well, she didn't decide that she was aging. At a certain point, she aged.
Yeah.
as one does.
Yeah.
And she decided, I guess, that she didn't want to age anymore. So she started bathing in the blood of virgins.
Fair enough. That's a pretty reasonable connection.
Yeah. So she would, send her, her men or her guards or whatever it is to town, round up the virgins, and whatever ones they deemed to be the prettiest, she would bring back to her castle, and she would do all sorts of terrifying. She would torture them ahead of time, I think, because she was upset that they were, you know, young and pretty.
Okay.
But she would do a thing where I think it was what's it called? Whatever the paper that just bursts into flames really fast. Or
like flash paper.
Flash paper.
Yeah.
I think she would throw flash paper at them or something like that, and all of the thimbles that they had to use, she would sometimes put pins in them just so they would prick themselves when it was just a monster to these women.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rumor has it that above her bathtub was sort of an Iron Maiden of sorts that would actually squeeze down and fill up her bathtub with blood.
Oh,
and then she would bathe in it.
And did people know that this was what was happening to the virgins of the town?
Yes.
You know that when I see these movies, no, go ahead.
No, sorry, no, and sorry, I want to hear what you were going to say, but yes, but it wasn't until she got a little too big for her britches, or a little too arrogant, anyways, and she selected the daughter of a noble
Okay.
to take part in her like tormenting and like bloodbathery,
Yeah.
I guess. That someone actually decided to do something about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they actually they sent like a judge and whatever like from England
Yeah.
to where she was. She was the wife of. Oh, I gotta look it up again. It's such a not wonderful, but it's like such a fascinating story. But they sent sent the people from England to go and arrest her.
Yeah.
But instead of just killing her, they just locked her in a tower and bricked it up.
Yeah.
Because like that was better,
Fair
I guess.
enough. Yeah,
I guess
right
they
on.
couldn't.
Because she was so
execute
beautiful,
her.
they couldn't bring themselves to
I guess
slaughter
I guess
her
so.
fair skin,
Yeah,
maim her
and yeah, she just
visage.
yeah. I don't know, but yeah, she just died in there, and like, Dracula is a pretty bitchin' story and all that stuff, but the
Mhm.
whole Elizabeth, like,
Yeah.
Bathory stuff is like that. That's just super duper weird. But like
Yeah.
you were saying, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
That absolutely people knew about this.
Mm-hmm. Like this kind of stuff, these
Yeah.
accounts of such, gross abusing of power and these incredible things that the royalty did and that the nobles did and that the church did and that this just because they had they could get away with it.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff is kind of why I don't really why I can't watch period piece movies, because they present these kind of movies where everyone is a normal person and they're sometimes really smart and clever and they make these grand discoveries. The history like this, it tells a different story. I imagine when I hear things like this that everybody in the past, especially in those times, were just like bumping your head against the wall simpletons. These are stupid people all over the world, because there's just no way that people can get away with that kind of crime and have it be known about, and that the people don't rise up and do anything, or that there's just not more of a kerfuffle. I mean, this is, I don't care how much of a reign of terror that they have upon a fiefdom or a kingdom. It's just, you have to, like, the people just have to be stupid as a collective to allow this to go on for so long. And so I don't buy the clever person in these Game of Thrones movies, or these really just kind of outed myself how out of touch I am.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the same time though, like, I don't know, like Jonestown, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like Jim Jones, he didn't, like, once they got down there and shit started to get really weird, yeah, he was, like having guys carry shotguns and, stand at the perimeter of Jonestown.
Right.
But like,
and all those people, like, they volunteered to go.
He just, hey man, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to move to Central America. We just need all of your money and your stuff.
Right.
And what was super fucked up is, like, yeah, okay, a bunch of people, like, from his parish and whatever it is went with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then other people showed up afterwards. Like, he didn't go back and pick other people up. Like, other people just showed up.
Right.
Like, that's fucked up.
I agree. Like,
And,
that,
like,
but that's like the minority. That was a small group of people comparatively.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I feel like,
no, like
there was a
that
lot of crazy, fucked up bullshit going down in the days of kingdoms and things like this, and I just can't imagine. Like, people must have been so dumb.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, yes and no. And no.
I think they were compared to us now. They're obviously really dumb.
Yeah. I mean, like basic literacy. Yeah, like that was kind of a really big deal when that started.
Yeah.
When that started to happen, you know what I mean?
So
like churches.
No, they would just
No, go
hear
ahead,
these
go
things happen, and they would just kind of think, okay, well, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's just how it all went down. That was just like the consensus. Oh yeah, that happens. That's the way it happens, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Buy some bread. Thanks.
One of the most interesting things I think I've learned, and I've thought about it a bunch, and applied it to writing and music and all that stuff. But like the reason why the Dark Ages is called the Dark Ages, it's not because it was like darker or anything like that.
What?
It's that seriously. No, the sun was still doing its thing. No, I just thought it was interesting that the reason why the Dark Ages is called the Dark Ages is that in contrast to the previous age, like in contrast to the Roman Empire, like it was a dark age for humans, because instead of the Colosseum and like the aqueduct, we have shacks made out of the ruins of the Colosseum and the aqueduct. Like it's fucking weird. It was really, really weird. But yeah,
the sewer. Oh yeah, that's that little trench next to the road. I just stepped in it actually. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna step in it 20 more times today. So
not a big deal. Man, whoever came up with cesspools was not very good at anything, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, you know how you piss outside? Yeah. What if you pissed inside? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Craig, have
Where?
you really thought about this?
No, this is perfect.
Yeah.
We just designate a room,
Okay.
like in the basement where the fumes rise.
Okay.
Well, but we don't know that yet.
In my basement, you're gonna put this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay.
No, what we'll do is we'll build a house.
Okay.
We'll build a giant house, and hundreds and hundreds of people will live in there because they're too poor to live anywhere else.
All right.
And
All right.
all of
I'm
us
liking this
will
so
just
far.
shit in the basement. Yeah. All of us will shit in the
Okay.
basement. It'll be perfect.
Okay, like so
Nothing bad could.
if all of our shit is gonna go into this one place, then count me in. Now you got me. Let's like a green
Totally.
light. Let's do it.
And the beautiful thing is, once it's there, we literally never touch it.
Why
It'll
would we?
just stay there,
Yeah.
until there's too much shit, and we'll just move into a new house.
Oh man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just disgusting. All right.
Yeah, I think we nailed this one pretty hard. I also feel like we might come back to this later, because I think there's enough based on true that we can probably jabber on about this a little bit more. So maybe in the future you're going to hear more of this stuff. So if you want to write to us about your favorite or most loathed based on a true story movies, let us know in the comments on Twitter at WaterlooGN or at BigHumanDead@gmail.com. Were there any that you wanted to give an honorable mention to?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Or are you talking to the viewer?
I'm talking to you.
Not the viewer, the listener. What do they do? I don't.
They're staring at their speakers, at the tiny speaker on their laptop.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys do that.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do that. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think I got to. I really wanted to. With the whole, what I thought what story was better than the movie. I really wanted to talk about Evil Dead 2 for sure, because I thought that's just a really interesting, almost mythology.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
Right on. For me.
Yeah. No, I think.
Oh yeah. For me, I think
A
Haunting in Connecticut, anything had to be better than that movie. And same with you liked it.
I liked Donald Sutherland. I can't think of too many movies that he's been in that I've liked.
Was he in that? In The Haunting in Connecticut? No.
Yeah, I think Donald Sutherland was in
No, that was Virginia Madsen.
Are you? Oh, you're right. Yeah. No. He,
Greg backs me up. Thanks, doctor. I don't think Donald was in that. Was he like the old something?
he was in one of those. He was in one of the movies from around this time.
One of the newer ones.
I thought.
Because I think this one was 2009 or something.
I could have fucking sworn that Donald Sutherland was in this. I think I'm thinking of another movie around this time. Maybe it was just The Haunting. I think it was just The Haunting. Yeah, that was it. That was it. He was just in The Haunting.
Okay. He didn't take the ticket all the way to Connecticut. Fair enough. I wouldn't either. No one should have.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I had to embarrass myself at least once. Once this episode. So yeah.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
I just needed to work in how I don't really like a lot of movies Donald Sutherland's been in. Like I just needed to work that in.
I love him though.
I love him. He keeps on like he's not allowed to vote. We got the federal election in Canada coming up soon, and he's not allowed to vote because he hasn't really lived here in a really long time.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't really.
I didn't even know he was Canadian.
Yeah, him and his kid are absolutely Canadian.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he keeps on like releasing press releases on who he feels Canadians should vote for, which is like that's.
Come on, Donnie.
It's like, yeah, crotchety old man Sutherland is telling us how to vote again. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't want to end on a bad note. Like I just complained about, what is it called? Haunting in Connecticut. And which was a bummer. But to be on a happy, like we want to support, not just sweep the legs out from under. Did you know the movie The Dentist with Corbin Burnson?
Yes, of course.
This is based on a real guy.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
A serial killer who was a dentist. And this, I can only imagine. Like, the movie is so creepy. Like, not creepy, but, like, this movie gives me the willies, hardcore. I can only fathom how fucked up it is to have a dentist who then snaps and becomes a serial killer. That's so bad. That's such bad news. That's the worst. That's just the worst. Dentists, don't do this. It's so like nobody likes you already. And we're all afraid of you anyway. Don't do this.
Of all of the professions to snap and go all murdery, like that's literally the worst one.
It's the one that gives us the most heebie-jeebies, and it's the one that's most necessary for society. Like without dentists, we're done. Humans are done.
Yeah.
And without dentists, so are the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dentists, just go, buy a cool dog, pet him, take him for walks, stay calm, see a doctor if you're feeling a little stressed.
Yeah.
We support you. We like you, dentists. Be nice.
I'm not going to say that. I don't like
I don't want these dentists to snap. That's the worst.
Yeah, well, I don't really go to the dentist. I don't like doctors. I don't go to the dentist anymore. I don't need to. I'll be fine.
You're already like sanding and grinding down your teeth made of stone just for the day when it comes.
I take very good care. I take excellent care of my teeth. I'm like a I used to brush 3 times a day and floss between every meal, actually.
Wow.
Like I used to be that guy. And then it's like, you know what? I think you can slow down. You can do like a twice a day, floss before bed. Take excellent care of my teeth. Excellent care of my teeth.
Right on.
Just in case.
All right, well, yeah.
I have to go to the dentist.
All the dentists in Toronto.
They freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, all you Toronto dentists, feel free to just wig out.
We've made a lot of people angry, I think, today. We've made people in Florida angry.
Mm-hmm. Made dentists.
Irish people angry.
In Toronto angry.
Dentists and zoophiles.
Yes.
Four distinct groups of people.
Yes.
Very angry today.
Yeah. 4 very small yet unique markets that may not see our movie if we tend to make one.
But they all love the Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
All right.
All
Good
right.
night, Robert.
Good night, buddy.